Welcome, everybody, to the Cast from the Coast. My name is Adam Oz, and I'm joined, as always, by Josh Lambert and Tim Johnson. What are we talking about tonight, Tim?
We are continuing the series of Rec with Rec 4 Apocalypse.
Stay tuned. Give us the synopsis, Tim.
Oh, you bet your balls I will. I'm sorry. An ill-fated television reporter is rescued and sent on a voyage across the ocean. But she is followed by a deadly virus that has plagued her and numerous others.
She is saved, rescued. I don't know. That seems kind of weird for this movie. So, okay. I don't know. Where should we even begin with this one? So, right from the start,
Adam,
the very opening of the movie is a direct continuation of the ending of the second movie. It literally picks up where the second's ending, but now the SWAT team's being called in. They're going to basically demolish the building. They're setting up like C4 and explosives. They're going to take down this place. Shit's about to get extremely real. And what happens? They come across Angela Vidal crawling down the stairs after the events of what had happened, and they take it upon themselves to sweep her away and save her from being killed in the incident. She wakes up sometime later, and she's on a ship. It's like a big ass container ship almost, or like an oil ship or some shit. It's scientific research vessel or something like that. And
I want you to keep going on with trying to find just
scientific research vessel is where I'm gonna leave it. Some shit like that. A kayak, for all I fucking care. She wakes up on a kayak. Surrounded by a ship's crew with a scientific group, as well as other quote-unquote survivors, as they are, people who are brought upon the ship that have encountered something having to do with the effects of the virus from the first
I feel
movies.
like that was so long.
It was extremely stupidly long-winded.
And it didn't make any sense.
No. Thank you, gentlemen, for your vote of confidence.
So easy to get the synopsis of the film, is it, Adam?
Yeah, bitch.
Yeah, thank you for the vote of confidence, gentlemen.
So we have the reporter. She's back.
Angela Vidal is back, which I like Angela. She was always one of my favorite characters. So, so in this time, it's a whole group of people basically wake up on the ship, and they don't know why they're there, what's going on. They just know that there's a group of scientists and a military group that's keeping everything together and going on the ship. And it's up to them to try to figure out what's going on. It introduces us, or reintroduces us, to a few characters from the past. So Angela, obviously, and then we have the aunt? Was it from the wedding in the third one?
Yeah,
right. She had fallen asleep early. And she was like escorted out of the wedding early, but she ends up like on the ship. So she's like the survivor of the third movie. And she wasn't even really in most of the movie. She was like at the beginning for like 10 minutes or something like this, and then once more a little bit later, and that was it.
I completely missed that. I didn't realize. was the same person from the third.
Yeah, because she kept going on about the fact that it was a weird location for a wedding. She didn't remember it looking like this, and then has anybody seen the bride and groom? And she starts going on about it and everything else. So yeah, so she was from the third movie. I got when I first saw this, and then following it up now, I got a real Day of the Dead vibe from this movie.
Yep.
Because you legit have the two factions. One that's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on, and the other one that's basically like, it's the end of the fucking world. We're going to do whatever the fuck we want type of scenario. And it's that butting of heads is going on quite a bit.
I feel like if an apocalypse actually happened, I'd like to be in the middle.
Playing
You know
both
what I mean?
sides?
Like I'm going to help people, but I'm still going to do what I want. I do what I want. You know what I mean?
Whatever.
You know what this movie reminded me of?
What's that?
Jurassic Park.
Pray tell.
They're in an enclosed area. Like the where it hit me the most is where they're like, oh, we have to go turn on the other propeller on the other side of the boat. That beat for beat happens in Jurassic Park.
Yep.
They have to go shut off the electric cage, and they have to go to the other side of the park where all the danger's in the middle. Like they're in this safe spot right now, and there's a safe spot at the end, but all the middle is dangerous. Just replace the zombies with dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs and
Dinosaurs?
yeah, dinosaurs, as he says.
Dinosaurs.
So in this movie, the shit really starts to happen when one of the lab monkeys that they're testing this virus on, basically trying to find a cure for it, gets loose and attacks the chef, who then basically bleeds and drools into the food.
Favorite scene. The little zombie monkey. Without
really the CGI zombie monkey.
Hey, before that, the only other zombie monkey we had was fucking Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And you only saw a zombie monkey once when the moon hit him.
And he was awesome. Jack.
And he wasn't even violent.
No,
he was an asshole, but he wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was about it. So yes.
And when he gets him in the pot.
Yeah, puts him in the pot. So we know where that's going right off the bat. It's almost like the story just kind of, it tells itself right then and there. Like the story just happens right then and there. It's like, oh, I know where this is going. Next thing you know, we have hordes of zombies on this fucking ship because everybody's basically eating zombie monkey stew, as it would be, you know, with the yeah, okay. I gotta tell you, it's good to see Angela back in the role in this, but I think that she was. I don't even feel like. How should I put this? I don't even feel like they actually wrote this originally with her in mind, to bring this character back.
That's a fair assessment. Yeah, no, I see. The thing is that the first movie was so tailored to her. Mm-hmm. She had a fucking journalist background, and she was on TV doing newscasts or, you know, on location things for the news. And that's essentially what her character was in the first one. But I feel like this one, she's legit just acting. Like she was that, but like
she's transitioned.
Yeah, she's just a character in the movie now, right? Whereas before, she was legit like playing off her real life experience, right? Whereas this, she's just, I don't know, running through a boat.
Well, with the found footage, the whole idea is to pass it off as something that's real, right? Like that's the whole idea of the series, the genre. So having a legitimate news reporter adds some legitimacy to your ability to pass it off as real. And at this point, the series has already exploded. It's had several sequels at this point. We're at the point now where it's no longer trying to pass it off as real. She's just an actress. And I think the only reason they continued to use her at this point is because she was in the other ones that blew up, and it continues the storyline they wanted to tell.
Yeah.
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 So she's less of a reporter and more of an actress at this point.
And to be fair, she can act. Like she wasn't
Sure.
bad. I didn't think that like she was ruining the movie at all. But I just felt like part of the charm of the first movie was this is a real reporter, and
Yeah.
she's speaking like a real reporter, right? And yeah.
No, and I agree. I mean, I think that she can act and everything, but I'm gonna liken this more to like the later Hellraiser movies, where it's like it feels like and they admitted with the later Hellraiser movies they were written with a difference of storyline, and then they threw Pinhead in there to make it a Hellraiser movie. To me, regardless, she was good. I mean, she's a good actress, and I like what she does. But it's almost like this was like a story that wasn't meant to have her in it, and then they just threw her in it.
Are you saying that you didn't even think that this was meant to be a wreck
No,
movie?
I think
This was
I
just
think that
another
this was
zombie
I
movie
think
on a
that this
boat?
was meant to be another part of the series, like Wreck 3, that had different characters, different story, different scenario, but she felt really out of place. She really did. That I
Well,
don't get it. Like it's
again,
just a feeling, the vibe that I got.
no, I agree with you. I agree with you. Um, and yeah, no, she did, but I also feel that this movie wouldn't have been as good for me personally if she wasn't there because it's my connection to the first one, which I do
Hmm.
like. I know Josh doesn't.
Right. Is this the final in the
This
series?
is the final in the
That's
series.
what. Yeah.
So yeah, I think they had to kind of bring her back.
I mean, could they do another wreck? Absolutely. It's a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
They absolutely could do another one. I don't see why they wouldn't. But, the idea strikes them, hey, let's do a zombie movie in, wherever.
Absolutely. So it's important to note that this one also was not directed by Paco Plaza. So it
No.
also has a bit of a different vibe due to that as well. I mean, the guy that was involved was the guy who wrote, or the director of this, was the writer and co-worker with Paco Plaza on all the other Wreck movies. But Paco stepped down on this movie and basically left it to him. His name, it's pronounced Yam Bulgaro. Yam Bulgaro. So he's been involved in the series the entire time. It's just, this isn't a Paco Plaza movie now. So once again, we have Manuela Valesco, who plays Angela Vidal. We have a character by the name of Guzman, who, let me just see here for a second. So we have Guzman, who is just one of the other main characters that we appear in the movie. We have Dr. Ricarte, we have Nick, Lucas, Captain Ortega, the aunt Invetida Boda, and a whole bunch of other characters that are basically tossed into this to be. Oh, and Manu appears to basically convey the story as for almost like this once again ship and voyage of like survivors attempting to get beyond what's going on around the world, or what's
I think it's important to note that they're not there because they're survivors. I think they're there because they're experiments.
Yes,
Like they're test subjects.
correct. I mean, maybe it was just wrong way for me to state this, but they did survive. They did survive their scienarios.
Yeah.
They are survivors
Absolutely.
of the situation, but it is a medical boat. It's a medical and scientific research.
They rounded them up and they're
Adam,
conducting
done
experiments.
with the
on
description.
Yeah, I'm done with the damn description. Medical
Done with the
scientific
description, okay?
research kayak or whatever the fuck.
So the entire film we're kind of set up to be suspicious of Angela because of the way the second one ended, where the parasite was dropped
Yes.
into her. So we're suspicious of her pretty much the entire film, and until like 3/4 of the way through, we figure out that the parasite jumped host, basically.
Yeah, explains like the blackout and basically not knowing what's going on and everything else. So
Right.
so yeah, but you're suspicious of her because it's, like you said, it's kind of the way that we left it with that thing too, right? So, and you wonder because if they're doing scientific experiments, what did they find? You'd kind of thinking about that kind of stuff, right? So, Josh, I'd really like to hear what you have to say about this movie, though. Let's talk about your notes. I want to hear your notes.
All right. This was my first viewing of Rec 4. took place August 31st, 2020 at 5:55 p.m. First note was we're back to the apartment, so this is a true continuation of the first two. The next note I have is it seems to be purely cinematic. So they've ditched the shaky cam altogether, and they've gone for a pure cinematic experience. Angela's back. Okay. Testing negative. So is there a legitimate virus in addition to the demonic presence at this point? Or can they have some sort of test to test the demonic presence? Oh shit, they're on the SS Zombie. So this boat is definitely going to get filled with zombies. As soon as I saw it, I said, okay, they're in an enclosed environment again. Here you are. You got a bunch of Angela on here with all of her zombie goo that got stuck in her from the second movie. This pervy IT guy kind of looks like Adam when he had long hair.
How did I know that was for some reason going to come up tonight? I don't understand. Pervy IT guy looks like Adam.
I mean, you are an IT expert.
You are kind of perv.
I mean, hey.
Ass.
Why does this quarantine boat have no lifeboats and no contact to the outside world? This seems horrible.
Ooh.
Frame by frame. So they kind of established that they're kind of restoring the original footage from the first one. They had to do it frame by frame. And I'm just thinking, this poor bastard's going to be here for days before he gets to the zombies. Oh snap. The monster inside of her is straight up alien. It's like popping out. But I guess that was just a dream, because it's not really in her. The angry bad guy kind of looks like Gilbert Godfrey. I don't know if you guys... I hope this chef fucks some stuff up with that big old meat cleaver he's using. Holy fuck, zombie monkeys. Yes. I was definitely not expecting zombie monkeys. They still managed to keep everything shaky and blurry despite being cinematic. Why? So did you guys notice that in any action scene they quickly switched to shaky cam? It's like, what? Why? Why would you do this? I'm getting serious Jurassic Park vibes. The backup engine can only be reached by going to the other entire side of the boat, surrounded by zombies.
Because he tries to call down first. There's no, we gotta go.
Yeah. Quote, where's the girl? Quote, on a cruise. What? So they aren't even going to sedate her, they're just going to slice her wide open right there to pull out this little worm thing. Like, they were ready to straight up do surgery on this girl without even sedating her. These doctors are up for malpractice suits. Quote, it's party time. Self-destruct activated. This is straight up a Resident Evil final boss scene. Every Resident Evil ends in a self-destruct mechanism, and they just press the button. Zombie monkeys are back. Boat motor used as a zombie whippersnipper gets points for me. I wrote zombie chunks. Monkey zombie chunks. It is unfortunate that this one had a much more medical side. So they pretty much thrown the religious aspect to the wind on this one. I think it's much more medical. What the heck are they? Where are they gonna go on that little dinghy? Like, they're gonna die of hunger and heat stroke and starvation, and that little dinghy is not gonna get them very far. And I said the motor might start out faster if it wasn't all gunked up with monkey brains. And what the fuck? A fish ate the parasite. Where does this leave us now? Those are all my notes for Rec 4.
Not very many notes. Pretty straightforward.
No, there really wasn't much to say about this movie. I didn't enjoy it as much as the other one. I enjoyed monkeys, zombie monkeys.
It had a bonus, zombie monkeys. Well, that's about where you go.
Hello everybody, I am Fabio Frizzi and you are listening to Daycast from the Coast.
So let's talk about the effects work in this then. So one of the big things that I had a problem with, yeah, we're doing it a little bit different, Tim, because you complained last time. What, now you're going to complain again because I'm doing it? Damn it, Tim. Damn it.
Consistency.
No, there's no need for consistency. I'll do what I want. Okay, fine. My biggest actual complaint about this movie is the zombie monkey. I'm sorry, the CGI. I did not appreciate the CGI of the zombie monkey. I like the idea, but I wanted something else.
I second that, because I feel like they could have got away with using, like, they could have did it practically. They could have used a real monkey, and then CG'd over the real monkey. Like, it stood out. Like, I loved the zombie monkey.
Yeah.
This movie would completely suck if it didn't have the
Agreed.
zombie monkey. Like, I love that sequence, right? But you're right. I feel that because of the practical effects that were all through this movie, like all of them, I thought were great. Like, I thought the zombies looked great. The kills, the deaths, all that great. But the zombie monkey kind of stood out.
Wouldn't be that hard to do a practical little monkey, like.
No. And even then, if they wanted to do it a 50-50, like the action-oriented monkey jumping around scene CGI, but then, like, when it's, like, actually, like, attacking on the person, have it, like, a practical puppeteered thing, right? Like, they could very well have done it better. But it was the standout
honestly,
situation that was...
I think that it wasn't blended right.
It's true.
Like, I feel like they weren't using the actual, like, LUT that they had for the whole thing. It was like it was very cut and paste.
It stood out brighter.
Yeah. Like and like just the tones, it just didn't match. It looked CG.
Yeah, and other than the monkey itself, everything else seemed fine. It really did just feel like Wreck on a Boat at that point. Like the zombies, you know, they kept a consistency as to how the infected looked, how they acted, how they, you know, they worked together on certain things, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I did actually kind of like the way that the chef was turned, but wasn't violent at first. And I love that when the guy comes in and he's like bugging him and he's sitting there like shaking, staring at the camera, and he's like basically foaming and bleeding and shit. It was just, it was kind of fun. Like it added like a little bit of an extra, you know, situation there. The effects work in general for the deaths. There was lots of, I think you stated it best, Josh. There was just zombie chunks and monkey zombie chunks everywhere. This movie really did up the carnage count when it came to what they were doing when it came to the zombies, because it wasn't anymore just, you know, shoot them in the head or anything else. There was all kinds of other blow aparts that, you know, that were occurring with this movie. The scenes towards the end as well, where it was like the rough seas and the storm, and they get out on the dinghy, and you know, with the fish and all that kind of stuff, it was weird. That was also not the greatest when it comes to like the visual aspect of the movie to me. It kind of stood out a little bit as a sore thumb as well, but you know. So does anybody have a favorite death in this movie? Because I'll tell you, I think my favorite death is, and I'm going to go back to what I was talking about the zombie monkey, because I agree, it was probably the best part of the movie, but it still stood out to me, the CGI. I really did like when the monkey first attacks the chef. Like, it's probably actually like one of my favorite scenes in the movie, is just when the chef's going nuts with the fucking monkey.
See,
He's got the monkey on the pan and he puts the top
yes!
on, and the monkey's like squirming and sizzling.
Yeah, it was fun.
I liked any scene that the monkeys were in. I like when they were all running through the grates. Yeah. And I thought those monkeys looked great.
The darker and matted, matched in. Right?
And they stick the fucking blade up, and it was just fan and gushing guts. Yeah, I like that part too.
Yeah.
They really weren't as creative with the weapons in this one. It was pretty much just the motor whippersnipper.
But my only problem with the motor whippersnipper is I was watching it the whole time going, where's the fuel tank on this thing? Like, it doesn't...
Wouldn't it be... Yeah, it's true.
Like, I'm looking at it saying it doesn't... this is a weird looking outboard motor that doesn't look like it actually has a fuel tank on it. I was confused. I don't know. but whatever. I think it might be time for some trivia. What do you think, Tim?
Okay.
All right.
Cue me
Trivia
up.
time with Tim.
One more
Trivia
time.
time with Tim.
That was good.
Wow.
I was reaching into my soul
Okay, so-
for that one.
So this trivia time is going to be coupled with goofs.
Oh.
Because there's quite a few goofs in this movie as well. But this isn't really a piece of trivia. It's just kind of like
Interesting fact?
you can do this. If you watch Rec 2, and this film, Rec 4, without watching the end credits, all back to back, all three movies would play out as one giant chronological scene of events. Yep.
That's kind of what you want in a sequel, I guess.
The possessed girl who started the outbreak is the only character to appear at all four films.
Mm-hmm.
Most of this film was shot on an actual oil rig ship. Some of the sets had to be recreated, obviously, from the ship at the studio in order to allow space to film and do stunts. But the majority of it was actually shot on a ship. This is the only installment of the franchise that's not filmed as a found footage at all. Only the beginning of Rec 3 Genesis was filmed as found footage. They did have found footage elements, looking at the fucking security cameras and all that, just alternate ways of watching the movie, right? What I find interesting is comic book artist Charlie Allard, also known for his work on The Walking Dead, drew the poster for this film's U.S. release, much like Tony Moore did for Rec 3 Genesis, which I thought was neat. This is the only installment of the franchise where we do not see the possessed girl in person. The elderly woman on the ship is a survivor of Rec 3 Genesis. Although she still believes she's attending the party. She is also Koldo's grandmother. So that's it for trivia. But I have some goofs for you guys. Some goofs.
Goofs for the goofs.
The motorboat being used as a weapon and also to propel the escape raft has no fuel source.
No, I picked up on something.
Yeah, you did. And this is more of a plot hole. Why don't the infected jump after Angela and Nick at the end of the movie? They weren't shown to be afraid of water, therefore it makes no sense why they don't follow them and kill them in the lifeboat.
They can't swim, bud.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be
Where does it say that?
mindless zombies. You would imagine that they just kind of fall and go. And
Crash around.
They couldn't get up. They cut the rope, remember?
excuses.
Anyways, that's it. That's all I got.
Trivia time with Tim plus the goofs. I don't know if that works. Plus some goofs. Okay. All right, gentlemen. We really need to discuss our final thoughts on this movie here. It doesn't make for a very long episode, but there's not a lot to really say about this movie, in my opinion. So I'm going to go first this time. And hopefully you guys will share the same sentiments as I do.
I think out of spite, I will not.
Fair enough, Tim. Fair enough. So, I have made it known I love Rec 2, Rec 3. But I gotta admit this movie really kind of falls short. It seems like a good idea. I was excited for Rec 4 Apocalypse when it was announced and when it was coming out. I did like the idea of Angela Vidal coming back into it. But like I said, when I watched it, it just kind of seemed like they shoehorned her in for the sake of it. That's just the way that I feel about that. The story was okay. Like I said, it gave like a Day of the Dead vibe with the factions kind of, against each other. But nothing in this movie except for like I said, the chef and the monkey really stand out to me and say, wow, worth the time. You know what I mean? Like in the third one, we had The Bride, which was kick ass, and the amazing ending. In the first and the second one, it was just one continuous storyline that was almost unheard of, the way that they pulled it off, and the story itself, and it was just all in all a great movie. This one comes out very much so under the radar to me. Like, it's, I can honestly say I'd only ever really watch it if I wanted to binge the series, but even then, I might even end my binging at part 3 because I'd be afraid that I'd spend most of the time watching part 4 with my nose in the phone. And that really kind of bugs me to say, because I love the Wreck movies. I really do. That being said, it does have its positives, but in this case, I've got to downgrade my feelings. This movie sits at just a PG for me. PG. Tim. How does Tim feel about Wreck 4? Apocalypse.
Well, I share many of the same sentiments, Adam.
Sentiments.
No, I said it right. That's how I wanted. No, that's how I wanted to say it, Josh.
You heard it here first,
Okay,
folks.
It's sentiments. I'm sorry. Just don't ever do that again. This movie should have been better. What really bums me out about this whole thing was this is it. This is the end of this franchise for right now, for the foreseeable future. And I felt that it wasn't really that strong. One of the things you watch a series for is the overarching story, the lore, the world building, finally figuring out what started the apocalypse, how are they going to get out of it. And I feel like this just added like a little bit. It was a little bit like, and they left it kind of open ended, so they could do another one, but they're not going to. It said, this movie wasn't a total disaster. There's many aspects of this movie that I like. I love seeing zombie animals. So the monkeys were great, though not rendered. The best. I thought the scenes, just the fact that they're in the movie, fantastic. I'm a fan of this series. I love this series, and I felt that this one just kind of strayed away a little bit. And a lot of people say that about part 3, but I love part 3. I thought part 3 was fun. I know Josh isn't going to agree with me, but I feel like this series is a found footage series. So to lose it all together really bugged me. How they did it in part 3 was fantastic because it gave you just enough to know that this is the Wreck series and this is what it's about, but we're going to up the game and actually shoot it cinematic. And for this part to be pretty much 95% cinematic kind of bugged me because that's not what this movie is about. Like, that's like watching a Star Wars movie and there's no fucking lightsabers in it and they don't go into space. And do you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're forgetting the core elements of what made people like this franchise. I felt that they could have did a lot more with the story than they did. Big fan of Angela. I'm glad she came back. This movie would have totally sucked if returning character didn't, and I'm glad that it was the protagonist from literally the first movie back to do that. A lot of the kills are great. I really like the motorboat engine, even though, like Adam said and like I said in the trivia, it doesn't make sense. But the gag of it was great. I don't want to give it this, but I'm going to. I don't feel it deserves it, but I feel that it deserves better than what it could be. It's kind of in the middle, but I'm going to give it a PG. I don't think it's a G.
No.
I think it's somewhere in the middle of PG and G, but it's just easier for me to say PG.
Makes
So it's not a totally earned PG, but it's PG.
PG. Okay.
Does that make
No,
sense?
makes total sense.
Sure.
I share the same sentiment, Tim. Excellent.
Good.
Josh,
This episode is. Thank you.
talk to us, Josh.
This movie was fucking boring, man.
Yep.
Like, I don't know about you guys, but once the monkeys were off the screen, I'm like, what? This is lame. They weren't creative with the zombie kills. There was one cool weapon. The best of it was in the first 15 minutes when they killed the little monkey. I don't like the characters were meh. You're following Angel around, you're expecting her to be this weird demon thing because they built that up as like the big reveal, and then it wasn't. Which is fine, I'm all for a twist, but the other guy was then kind of just like punked off pretty easily. This whole series just kind of falls flat. I think you could just watch the third one as a standalone, and the rest of the series can just fuck off.
I'm so hoping. I'm so hoping that you were gonna say something because it felt like you're gonna go fuck itself or.
Can just
Yeah.
fuck right
The
off.
series, this movie is fucking boring. Like, there's very little for it, in my opinion, that warrants anything higher than a G. And quite frankly, if it wasn't for the zombie monkey, we'd be sitting at an S rating for me right now. So, they managed to take what was a cinematic movie and pump in all the annoying parts of a found footage movie. So every time the action started, the camera started shaking uncontrollably as if it was found footage. And at least with found footage, as much as I don't like it, it, quote, makes sense. And here, it just didn't. It was just an excuse to hide all the effects, which, to me, is the biggest slap in the face to an effects artist I think you can do. If you're not going to take the time to showcase their work, why the fuck are you hiring them? Go to Spirit Halloween, get a mask, and get some fake blood if that's the route you're going to go, and you're going to use a shaky cam. Like, it's ridiculous to hire these professionals and then not even be able to see their work.
But to be fair, I feel that it kept the action feeling the same. I don't agree with it, but it felt like every time a zombie attacked in this franchise.
Right.
Right?
Yep. It did. The whole series for me just falls flat. I think the third one is a good zombie movie, and if you just watch that above and beyond itself, that's great. The series in totality has some amazing plot points and story elements that I wish they would have utilized more. When we get to the fourth one, they've almost completely disregarded the whole demonic presence of it, and it's become purely a virus to them. They're on
They did have
medical
the fucking
facility and like
devil dick thing coming out of the guy's mouth.
The
Yeah.
devil's dick.
Demon.
But they
Demon
don't
dick.
even refer to it as demonic. It's just a parasite.
Yeah.
It's kind of like any other parasite film you'll watch. It could have easily just been an alien, the way they played this movie. For me, this movie is a G, and that's solely because of the zombie monkeys. If the zombie monkeys weren't there, and that first scene in the first 15 minutes of the movie with the zombie monkey and the chef, I'd be rating this movie in It's for shit. But zombie monkeys got me to G. And that's
I
where
love
we're
that
at.
you're easy to please like that kind of stuff, though.
The cheese alone with a zombie monkey on a grill is just excellent. Like
Yeah.
that to me reminded me so much of Dead Alive with like the little Sumerian rat monkey.
It did. Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Yeah, no, totally get that vibe. Totally get that vibe.
I'm a simple man.
Simple tastes.
Give me some
Simple
cheese and some zombie monkeys, and I'm happy. All right, guys. Good conversation, but we got to wrap this one up here tonight. So I'm just going to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening to us talk about this entire series of movies, all 4 of the Rec movies. So check us out on Facebook, Misunderstood Art Company. Like and subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. Like and subscribe, Misunderstood Art Company. Share, like, tell everybody about it. Let's get some more viewers up and going. We also produce audio copies of this. Every week, by the way, we produce content, and we produce audio copies of this on all the major podcasting platforms, including, but not limited to, Google Play, iTunes, and Spotify. We're also on Patreon. Open up your hearts and your wallet and become a patron today. And until next time, Josh.
Zombie monkeys. How do you have a movie with zombie monkeys that sucks? That's what I want to know. Someone really screwed the pooch on this one.
Well, the writer was also the director. He pulled double duty, so he must have really screwed the pooch on that one.
Busy guy.
Tim.
Stay safe. Stay spooky.
Good night, everybody. See you next time.
Good night.